Welcome everybody to the Dublin Tech Talks podcast, The New Normal. Today we have Ryan O'Neill from co-founder and CEO of LegitFit.com. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Gavin. Really appreciate it.
So your business and what you're trying to do caught my eye over the weekend when I saw an article about how you're moving your business with the times and everything that goes with that. Do you want to give a bit of a background about what LegitFit is and you know what product you have,
Sure.
and where it's come from and the ideas behind it?
Perfect. So like my background is actually in pharmaceutical chemistry. The transition there's obviously a long story. But I kind of moved away from that because it wasn't really what I wanted to do. Was doing a lot of different courses at the time. One of them was becoming a PT. And then I went into this night business course of setting up your business in Ignite in UCC. I don't know if you've ever came across it, but I went in there with the idea of basically creating like a fitness marketplace, because for me as a consumer getting into fitness, that was the kind of the first hardest bit. Like, where do I go to? Who do I go to? Who do I trust? So that was the kind of inception of the idea. We then kind of spent our time in Ignite researching it a lot. One thing that we do in Legit Fit, and you'll hear about this later, is we obsess over the research side of things. And we found that people thought it was a cool idea, Airbnb for fitness, but it wasn't something that they were willing to pay for. So we went back to the drawing board. We said, okay, one of the biggest problems facing this industry, instead of telling people what we were building, we asked them what we should build. And then that's what ended up in being Legit Fit. So the big thing for us was to reduce two things: admin work and cancellations. So we carried out some research. Average professional, we're talking about personal trainers, yogis, gym owners, they're spending about 4 hours every week on admin. So that's like scheduling back and forth with your clients, taking bookings, tracking payments, all that kind of stuff. And then they're losing out on 3 hours every week due to cancellations. So we essentially wanted to build a very easy to use product around this, cutting down cancellations, cutting down admin work, and then targeting people who are starting out in the industry all the way up to a couple of hundred members.
Okay, brilliant. And an interesting comment you said there, you actually went out to the market and asked them what they wanted. That's the newer way of thinking about a product, rather than the intercom guys talking about that. Look out for what the problem is, solve a problem, and you have a product.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest benefits to us in the early stages is that we got into the Ignite program in UCC, and Eamon Curtin, who's the director down there, literally just said, get outside, stop being in the office. And we just went around to every gym in Cork, I'd say, every personal trainer in Cork. And I suppose at the same time I was doing a master's as well in marketing and management. So we were doing a lot of market research. So it was kind of really helpful in that aspect into how we question people. So we could, instead of saying we're building an app that does X, Y, Z, which you're obviously then leading the person into saying, okay, I think that's a good idea, and you're not learning anything new. Instead of doing that, we just changed one little thing and we said, what should we build actually?
Yes.
And then we told them after, okay, this is what we're thinking. What do you think of that? So that we could get the benefit of their ideas as well as get their feedback on our own ideas, and then combine that in some way to build the perfect product.
Okay, brilliant. And in relation to the last couple of weeks and where the product was before we all can't go to the gyms anymore, we can't go to our yoga classes or Pilates, what pivot did you do, and kind of when did you identify the need to do it?
Yeah, so I think we identified the need pretty early. Gyms weren't closed down across the country, mandatory, but they started closing down due to social pressures. Then I was on to my friends who are over in Spain, who are a month ahead of us with regards to COVID. And I could just see this eventually coming to Ireland. So for the first couple of days, we were like, oh God, we're just after, we're a year in business. We're just after hitting €1 million in bookings. We're launching in the UK. Everything is going swimmingly. But that's, I think, when something big is about to happen. That's like startup life. for the first couple of days, as I said, we were like, oh, right, we can do nothing. But then we started seeing people watching the market and seeing people kind of being a bit more positive, adapt and overcome. Then was the mentality that we decided to take. So we then just started saying, okay, what's the contingency plan here for us? But more importantly, what's the contingency plan for our customers? Because our customers are part of us right now, because we're a small company, you know. So that's when we kind of decided to do the pivot, move online, and we're currently in the process of integrating with who we're on right now, Zoom.
Okay, bro. And the uptake from clients, I'm guessing, has been pretty quick and pretty steady because they want to keep their revenue channels open.
Yeah, so I think, again, same situation. I don't know if you've ever heard, I think there's this model called the Kuber something model of change. And it shows like the different stages of change. And it's like, first it's like shock. And then there's like, you don't accept it, denial and all that.
Yeah.
And then you start innovating. So there was that kind of initial week of people being kind of, oh no, we can't do anything. So what we ran essentially the week after everything, and we did a build up to this, was all these webinars on how to set up Zoom, how to run your business during this time. We got in people from Australia, from, Dublin, Cork, all over the place to talk about their kind of field of expertise to help with this transition. So on the Monday, I think we had somebody from, it was Shane from Sarah Consultancy, who talked about the business side of things. We had two guys who kind of help with Facebook marketing. We had someone who helps with video as well, because obviously video is such a massive thing. And then we ran our own webinar on how to use Zoom and how to set up Zoom. So we had kind of that like adapt and overcome mentality put out towards our customers. And then whilst I was kind of organizing that side of things, one of the other team were ringing every single customer. Literally exported a list and just got on the phone from, like, I think it was from it happened, it came into Ireland properly on the Friday or whatever, and on the Monday morning he was just on the phone, and he's still on the phone to this day. I'd say he's on the phone right now, getting through everybody and booking in meetings with them, and setting them up online, and how to best use it with our own system.
It's funny, the change, I think long term, when we all go back to the offices, and how people exercise and where they exercise is going to be different. It's a chore. It's a 2.5 hour possible time out of your day to go if you have family, if you have other commitments. Definitely that marketplace is going to grow, and it will allow businesses, if you're a great Pilates or a yoga teacher or a fitness teacher in Ireland, you'll have a global clientele. So it's definitely a market, I think, that won't go away. So did businesses adapt to it in Ireland quickly, or was there a bit of friction on it?
Yeah, like initially, I think the big thing in this market is you get a lot of people going, oh God, this is really too technical. It's quite difficult to do, I'd say. But it's actually like you use Zoom, and as you can see, setting up a Zoom meeting, and there's no kind of barrier essentially for people to join a meeting or anything like that. So it's just about kind of getting over the initial setup, and that's why we thought it was so important to just ring everybody and say, okay, this is actually not hard. Let us help you with this, because like we're not the kind of company that's just like, we have a software, there you go, see you later. Like we want to kind of learn more about the customers, how they're using the product, so that we can kind of better it as well for the future. So we need to kind of understand, with regards to setting up, what are the difficult parts that they find, what can we make easier, because when we go to this integration, unless it's as easy as they need it to be, they're not going to use it. That's with lots of things, the frictionless processes, the 2-3 step signups, that's, modern products have the ability to be able to create them, rather than a traditional business where you need a lot more forms and a lot more integrations to be able to get somebody to sign up. I know myself, I get bored if I have to keep
going on different processes if they don't remember my settings and different things like that. So
yeah, like it even went to the extent, and this is what I was talking about earlier about like the obsession of the research. It went to the extent that as we wanted to figure out from a client, not just from a customer view, how the setup is, because we knew that we're a remote company, we know how to do that very easily. We wanted to see from the client's perspective when using LegitFit, was it easy to get into a class? How was the class? So for the first, it was the first week we did the webinars. The second week people were set up, and I wanted to find out a bit more. So I posted, we have a Facebook group and a WhatsApp group with the majority of our customers. I know how long that'll last, I don't know.
It's like the football manager who's still in the WhatsApp group in their team. And how long does that?
Yeah, so I messaged everybody and I said, guys, I did a video message because I do a lot of video. I think it's just more personal. And I said, like, hey everybody, looking to learn more from a client's perspective next week. Who wants me in one of their sessions? And I literally did 4 classes during the week. Like I was there with milk bottles in the living room up in Limerick working out, and I think they had a good laugh at it as well, like putting me through the paces, like so like just I did that so that we could see from a client's perspective how easy it was. How the trainers were running it as well was really important to us, because we essentially want to bring not the exact experience, but as close to the exact experience that they're already having in the gym, and bring it online, because the clients aren't paying for the weights or anything like that, because if they were doing that, they'd be in a large commercial gym that's going to be less expensive. They're not paying for the smell off you, they're paying for your coaching and your instruction. So that can be done online, and that's what we want to just do: transfer that coaching and instruction, make it interactive, and put it online.
And kind of what's next for the business, for yourself? What is next? Where this all goes away soon enough, and what happens?
Yeah, so like obviously like nobody knows regards like when this is going to go away. I think the best indicator we have is all the countries that are ahead of us, and knowing that, again, talking to my friends in Spain, they're on a further lockdown until later this month, and we'll find out then, how far along they are versus what we're doing. Like for us, we feel this is going to go on for at least another couple of months. That's why we began building the direct integration with Zoom. We wouldn't kind of waste our time if we didn't think it was going to be there for another couple of months. So like literally on our platform, you'll now be able to click whether sessions are a virtual session or a live session. So that's our plan with regards to development. With regards to the future, I think a lot of people, a lot of the gyms and a lot of the yoga teachers, and they're all kind of figuring now this is another source of revenue for their business.
Yeah.
They have a bigger outreach to their potential customers, as you mentioned. So I think that this will change how fitness is obtained, essentially. You look at Peloton over in the US and how well they're doing. I'm wondering, is this something that will happen over here, that more people will want fitness on demand? In that case, is that something we should be looking at? If our end goal is to go to a marketplace, should we be a marketplace that does fitness on demand? There's a lot of avenues we can go down. But again, what we'll do is what we've been doing since day one. And we do every 3 months. We'll send out a survey. We'll talk to customers. We'll find out what they want, and then we'll build it. And
yeah, okay, great. And just then on the business itself, it's mainly, mobile. What kind of platforms is it going to be focused at going forward? Is it mobile first, or going to be desktop, or what way are you going to look at it?
Yeah, so like we essentially built from the start as a progressive web app. We were going to go down the route of mobile, but then we figured that there is a desktop version needed. Then when we were thinking about making the app, it was a lot of time and effort put into a product we didn't fully understand yet. And I think a lot of the customers who have moved to us in the last couple of months, the reason they moved to us is because they're coming from a different company that have built an app that wasn't functioning right, that was causing a lot of issues. So we just don't want to go down that road of we don't fully understand the product. We have an app that has loads of issues, and we're trying to find these issues. And like, as I said, we're a small team. We don't have the resources to be looking for bugs and spending days and days of trying to fix things. So the progressive web app, which is essentially a website that then is optimized to mobile. So if you go on it on mobile, everything optimizes down to that, is really the kind of best solution. And I think, and again, going back to this whole survey thing, we asked our customers 3 or 4 weeks ago. We said, okay, this is the things that we're thinking about building. Obviously, leading with the question of what should we build first, and then asked them at the end, what about the app? What do you think? And just gave them 3 options. One option was keep going as you're going, guys. Everything's working great. The second option was you need to build the app, and the third one was maybe you should just build one for clients. And again, keep going as you're going, guys, was the resounding thing, which is kind of amazing, because the first thing when you say to people, this is the way we're building it, they're like, you don't have an app in the App Store. It's like, let me just show you why we don't have an app in the App Store. And it just benefits from the client and the professional a lot more. So yeah, that's that kind of.
And in relation to revenue streams, is it primarily sign up, or is it advertising, or what way is your revenue streams created?
It's SaaS, so it's subscription from the fitness providers. They pay us we have a free version for people who are starting out in the industry, and then we have one for €50, and then we have one for €100, depending on kind of what volumes you're doing and what you need from a system. So that's our core revenue stream. We don't charge clients anything. We won't be going down the advertising route unless we're going into the marketplace element.
Yeah, and what do you get for your sign up fee? What's the kind of I'm signing up tomorrow as a professional. What is the product I'm signing up to get?
Yeah, so essentially you're signing up to something that's going to reduce the time you're spending on your business and reduce the losses essentially in your business. So you have a shared calendar with your clients. You can instant message them and they can instant message you. So the communication is better. They can obviously book in, join waiting lists. A lot of things are automated and keep them engaged. So we send clients an email the night before their sessions saying, don't forget, you have a session with Gavin tomorrow at 1 p.m. They can add it to their calendars. We also send one on a Sunday night. We call it the guilty hour at 7 p.m. just to remind them to book in the future. And yeah, it's just about kind of keeping more touch points with the clients, keeping the clients engaged, and then keep your business running smoothly, so that you just kind of have to, take care of the clients more than taking care of the billings and the accounts and all that.
Well, it sounds like it's a great product, and it's flying. Before we close up, just away from anything disease related, what would you say is you're going to be your biggest challenge then, for the business to go 5x, 10x? What challenges do you kind of foresee, or what keeps you awake at night nearly?
Everything. Yeah, well, I suppose, like, as I said, it seems like every time in a startup, you're against the next dragon. So like you slay one dragon and you're against the next challenge. Like, I don't know what our next dragon is yet. Like, I think we're still at the stage where we're trying to, we're very close now to kind of creating that repeatable sales model. Yeah. And that's our next challenge, is that we need to kind of create the model of we put in 1, we get 10 back. And we've been kind of working on that, but obviously with everything going on the small team we have, it's more important that we take care of our customers and that they're looked after with regards what they need from a system. Because, as I said, we're quite early stages. We're only a year into product development. So we want to make sure that they're okay first. And like we're taking away pretty good. Like as I said, we just hit €1 million in bookings, which like we were hoping to do in
Amazing,
September, which is really, really good and really positive. So I think like for us, it'll be about that, and then raising money, because I think we can, like, we'll definitely get to, you know, I think we're at, just before COVID, we were at like 120 AR, and like we were hoping to kind of be near the kind of 200 by September and then raise money. So I think that's going to be the next challenge, is finding an investor who has, first of all, an interest in this space and in this industry. I think that'll be really important. And it's more than just the money that we want. It's the experience, the expertise, and how they're going to help us to scale it. And that will be our kind of our next biggest challenge, is finding that and connecting with that person.
Scaling's a whole different ball game. That's a different podcast altogether.
Yeah. I'm listening to like all these different podcasts and reading these books on, like, you know, traction and stuff like that, and it's just like, that's the next big dragon, essentially.
That's an expensive dragon as well. You definitely need a backer for that. But no, thanks, Mel, Ryan, for your time. If anybody wants to find out more, it's LegitFit.ie, and I'm sure you'll get lots of responses now from this. But no, thanks, Mel, for your time this morning, and I really hope it goes well.
No worries. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.